So you've managed to get you and your business into the media. That's amazing and well done you. Hopefully you remember to put a call to action at the end of the story and will soon be benefiting from the powerful visibility this coverage will bring you. But in reality, securing the coverage is only the start of the process. What happens next is just as important in letting the media do the heavy lifting for your business, which is what we want, isn't it? This is usually the missing piece of the puzzle for business owners. They forget that for media coverage to grow their business and bring in more sales, they have to use it with intent. It's not just a vanity exercise, you are doing this for a reason. I'm going to chat here about 3 things you should do as soon as you've seen that your coverage is live. They're all easy to implement, but truly important. Before I go on, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video too. This way we all benefit. Thanks for doing that. So, it's exciting when you get into the media. Many of my clients get pretty giddy by the whole thing, and quite rightly. I get giddy for them too. It's a big step in the growth of your business, and as I'm often heard to say, there's nothing like it for creating powerful and sustainable visibility, all without the overwhelm. Sometimes they'll share the link to the coverage somewhere on social media, but then it all goes quiet. And this is when they can get a little despondent. PR just doesn't work for me, I get told. I've tried it and nothing happens, they say. Of course, what's missing is their strategy, their plan to make this coverage worth doing. So here are my 3 tips for leveraging your media coverage. Do these as soon as your coverage is live for maximum effect. Yes, of course, number 1 is to share it on your social media platform. It's no surprise, is it really? What I want you to get into the habit of doing is sharing something about this coverage for a week after it's gone live. Share the link for sure if you have one. If it's in a print publication though, you may not have this initially. And if that's the case, I would ask your media contact if you can share the full PDF. If they say yes, which most will, you need to get them to send it to you. Or you could tell them you'll take a picture of the story and share it that way. More often than not, features in print end up online anyway, at some point in the future. So when that happens, grab the link and save it somewhere for future use. Once you've shared the full feature, get creative and keep sharing. For instance, you could read your story to your audience on an Instagram Live. You could take a short paragraph and share that on your Facebook page or in your group. You could create top tips from the content of the feature and share those. Maybe you could turn the copy into a video for your YouTube channel if you have one, or a podcast if you've got one of those. Twitter's a good place to go, and you could start a Twitter thread and pick out the main points to share. You could do loads of stories on Instagram and share the link to the feature. How about a series of reels around the topic that you've just shared on your media coverage? Go live on LinkedIn and talk about what it was like to get into the media. Of course, make anything you share relevant to the platform you use. I'm just giving you a few pointers here. Bear in mind too that using your media coverage this way avoids the need to create other content that week, taking you off the content hamster wheel, which has to be a good thing, yeah, I'm sure you'd agree about that. The really fab thing about media coverage is that you can continue to share it for years to come. Just make sure the content is still relevant and then it just won't go out of date. So you will always have tons of content at your fingertips to bring out as and when needed. I can tell you now that this is a great way to avoid the overwhelm we can spiral into when trying to come up with content ideas day in and day out. It can be quite frustrating. And remember, not everyone sees your content, so please don't feel you can only share it once and then you're done. That's just not the case at all. Now, number 2 is to get the coverage onto your website, and there's a few ways you can do this. First comes a blog, and if you don't have a blog page on your website right now, I suggest you think about creating one. It's a great tool for searchability via Google and keeps your website live, which also helps with the rankings. You can upload the feature in full, but please seek permission from the editor first, as you may have handed over your rights to the copy when you submitted it to them. I have to say though that in all my years as an editor, I have never said no to a business owner who has asked me this question. I just tell them to say where it featured, which then becomes good publicity for the media outlet too. We're all in this together, remember. If in the unlikely event they do say no, I would recreate it, changing things around a bit so it's a little bit different from the one that they featured in their magazine or wherever it went. But then I would say that a similar feature on the same topic was in the press. Say where that was, and if you have it, put the link in the blog too. There's always a way. Then don't forget to put the media outlet's logo on your website too. On the homepage is best, or you could create a specific media page for this. I prefer using my homepage because that's where most people land when they go to the website. And if my logos aren't there, then I have to try to get them to click over onto the media page. And that's, unlikely to happen. So let's make it easy for them to see what we want them to see and have it there right in front of them when they land on the website. Alternatively, you could put your logos on the homepage and create a media page too, where you put the links, the PDFs, etc. This makes for a very powerful piece of real estate. Just imagine what that would do for your credibility when people see all of that stuff, all those places you've been. Then number 3 is all about your email list. This is where your hottest audience lives, and you should never forget to put your media coverage in front of them too. It works as a tool for driving sales, so let it do its job. By sharing it like this, you are reminding the potential clients on your list that you are an expert, credible, knowledgeable, and that you are someone worth working with. It does wonders for growing the trust factor. Now, I would email out as soon as I know the coverage is live, with a link back to it, or the PDF of course, depending on what you've got. Don't forget to add a call to action. Tell your audience what to do next to make sure they take a look at your hard-earned coverage. Once you've got this media machine working, simply rinse and repeat. Use your coverage over and over, never assuming that everyone has seen it. So that's the 3 things I would do first once I have secured media coverage. You can add to this to make it even more powerful, of course, and I would definitely do that as you move along your media coverage journey. As I said earlier, get creative and share, share, share. That's how it works. Now, if you're still a little bit unsure about what stories to write for the media, I've got a video that's going to really help with that. It tells you the stories that journalists want experts to write about for them. I'll put the link to that video in the description box so you can nip across and have a look. Now, thanks for sticking with me through this video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye.